Anyway, I need to get through my fall TBR. It is, what is it? It's the 8th, and I've read 2 books off of that. I put 13 books on the list, and I've read 2 of them. Well, this vlog is not going to be centered around the fall TBR jar, which is right there. I'll grab it in a second. I do want to try to knock out like 3 or 4 of them while also knocking out one of my TBR shelf books, because I do need to get through those too. But same for 1 TBR shelf book and 3 tentatively fall TBR jar books. That's only 4 books. Maybe I'll do 5 fall Let me see what I pick, because some of these are really thick. So I'll start off with the book I know I'm going to be reading, and that is The 5th of March, A Story of the Boston Massacre by Rinaldi, which I have owned for 15 years. Don't ask me why it's taken me forever to read this, considering this is like one, I love historical fiction books like this, especially YA historical fiction is actually like my favorite kind of YA, which is probably why I keep trying to read YA to get like more YA that I like, and it's just not working. I love this kind of stuff. Why is it taking me so long to read this? I don't know. Essentially, it's in the title. It's about the Boston Massacre. It says it's 1770, and 14-year-old Rachel Marsh is a servant in the Boston household of John Adams. Oh, but her loyalty to the Adams family is tested by her friendship with Matthew Kilroy, a British private with an unsavory reputation. Rachel knows Matthew is frustrated and angry, but even she is surprised when he is accused of joining soldiers in firing upon a mob of citizens in the bloody encounter that came to be known as Boston Massacre. I actually don't know much about the Boston Massacre, so this will be interesting. I'm excited for this one. And now, the jar. I've read 2, so there are 11 in here, and I'm just going to pull and see what we get. Don't look at my hair. All right, so first we've got Penpal. Penpal by, is this Jonathan? Stickers covering it. Oh, Dathan. I've seen this mentioned a lot on TikTok on like the horror recommendations list, so it's nice and short. I should be able to get through it relatively fast. In an attempt to make sense of his own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, a man begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventures of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Okay. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of all, you will wish you could forget what he never knew. Okay. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm very much a cover and title type of person. If I like the title, I'll go for it. If I like the cover, I'll go for it. Do I care about what's inside? Not always, but this sounds good. What else we got? This one? I think this is one. Oh, I Feed Her to the Beast. I haven't been showing anything. I don't even know that's going to focus. I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me, I think it's called. Yep, I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me by Jamison, Shea. Shea? Soon I'd be a name no one would forget, a raging fire they couldn't escape. Ooh, the Paris catacombs. As she descends into godhood and the mystifying underworld below, she's in the Paris catacombs. She is faced with the ultimate choice: continue to break herself for a world that doesn't love her back, or succumb to the darkness that wants her exactly as she is, monsters, heart, and all. That is, if the god killer doesn't catch her first. That tells me nothing, but at the same time, I'm here for it. Okay. Maybe YA horror will also be my jam. It's not usually. I'm still trying. All right, what's next? That's 2. Yeah. Let's see. Spells for Lost Things. This is actually the one I'm a little bit wary about because it's kind of on the cozier side if I remember right. Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Welch, which I think I have another book by them. I have Love and Gelato too, which I think I actually am supposed to read later on in the year. So this will be an interesting introduction to the author. It's got 2 POVs, it looks like. We've got Willow, whose mother's sister, her aunt, passes away. However, she did not know her mother had a sister. Okay, and then we've got Mason, whose mother lost custody of him 7 years ago. So he must be in the foster care system. Yeah, this might be a little bit too fluffy for me, but we'll see. I like witches. I love witches. I love spells. You think I would love actually books about witches and spells, and because I love TV shows with witches and spells. All right, so that's 3. Penpal's pretty short, so I'll do 1 more. Got 2 again. Yeah. Let's see. A Fig for All the Devils. I actually have that one digitally, so let me grab my e-reader. Where are you? Who has to update? 1 second. All right, A Fig for All Devils by, where's the author? C.S. Fritz. Okay. An abused, grief-stricken, and impoverished Sonny has all but given up on life. That is until he meets death by way of the Grim Reaper. The Reaper, a junk food loving, poetry reading, cigarette addicted entity, has no time to waste as he searches for a suitable successor who would become death for the next millennium. All right, and I think I'll do one more, like this doesn't really shake, one more like just in case. And if I don't get to it in this one, I'll just slot it into the next one, because the next one is also going to have a lot of fall TBR reading, because I'm trying to get through this. So let's see. That one? Yes. All right, for backup, we've got The Insatiable Hunger of Trees. That's actually pretty short, so I might actually be able to slot that in here. The Insatiable Hunger, did I say that right before? Insatiable Hunger of Trees by Samantha Eaton. 288. Oh, that's not bad at all. Okay, I might just include this one. We'll see what happens, but I might just include this one. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go to the library and read some. I did in fact pick up some more library books. Did I need more library books? Absolutely not. But I have so much trouble walking past the new release. It's not even new releases. They just kind of put out new releases and then like featured shelves. I have so much trouble walking past those and just like not picking something up. So I got a couple of things. I got But Not Too Bold by, this always cuts it off. Who are you? Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Hache? I need to look up how to pronounce that. I'm recording on my phone, so I can't do that here. Don't know what this is about, just like the cover. I think the cover looks so cool. And whatever it is about. Wait, The Shape of the Water meets Mexican Gothic. I haven't read Mexican Gothic yet. It's on the list. I do plan on reading that at some point. It's a sapphic monster romance. Oh, that is my shit. If there's one thing I will always read, it's a sapphic monster romance. If it's sapphic, I'll read it, period. But like sapphic monster romance. Sorry, I'm so excited now that I know what this is. Then we've got The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House by Joanna Davidson Politano. A clever young woman, a contested will, and an estate that does not easily give up its secrets. It's 1901 when clockmaker and tinkerer Sydney Forrester receives the most unusual inheritance. Blakely House, the island estate of an estranged uncle she's never met, seems almost alive, revealing and hiding its secrets at will. It's filled with remarkable inventions, including an intriguing unfinished automaton Sydney is itching to get her skilled hands on. Okay, I don't think this is also a monster-esque title, but a girl can hope. And then finally we've got Tripping Arcadia by Kit Mayquist, which is also a Gothic novel that I have checked out probably like 5 times and never read. Maybe this will be the time. And I have so many library books I have to get through. But that's what I got at the library. Okay, quick update because I've got a lot to do. I did cut and dye my hair. Finally. How's that? Is that better? I've also decided to DNF Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Welch. It's not for me. It's slow. I got 58% of the way in, I think I calculated with the tracker thing, and like not a whole lot has happened, and I just don't care. So I'm gonna save myself the torture and just stop. Willow is going to Salem to meet her mother's family after finding out her mother has an like her mother had a sister that she'd never spoken about. Nobody knew that her mother had a sister, and they meet like her mother's family that she didn't know about and learns that they're witches. That's another thing, is once they introduce them as witches, I thought there would be more magic. At this point there's not. We're still like kind of figuring things out, and I'm bored. And then we have Mason, who is in foster care at the moment because his mother dropped him off there and then just kind of vanished, and he's currently at the house of his mother's friend, and there's not a whole lot learned there yet either. So I'll look up what other people are saying, but I've had enough. I've also started I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me. This is going much better. We're not very far in. I'm not very far in yet. I've been using these as bookmarks and they keep falling out, so I'm maybe like 2 chapters into it so far, and I'm having a much better time. This is about a girl named Lore, who is a ballerina of color, who is struggling with, she's training in Paris, and she's struggling with the racism that comes with not only, existing in the world, but especially in the ballerina scene. Lighter skin color is prized more, different hair textures are prized more. She just is aware that she will not be able to make it as far as these other ballerinas because of who she is. I love ballerinas in horror, which I didn't really think about as like a concept, but I'm really enjoying the idea of horror ballerinas. So I hope the ballerina part stays within this. And that's literally all we've done so far, is we've learned who she is, what she does, and her ex-girlfriend is like the ballerina. And this boy shows up, who I guess is related, not related, but he's associated with the main guy who is with her ex-girlfriend. So far, this has the vibes I'm going for. Some other vibes. Penpal. I've also started Penpal. This is way shorter than I know it was short, but like I'm flying through this. I'm about 110 pages in. I'm in the middle of a chapter right now, and this is freaking me out. If there's one thing, I mean, I'll read it and I'll watch movies about it, but if there's one, and play video games, if there's one thing I really hate, it's the idea of like being perceived, being stalked. I hate it. I still struggle with the idea of just being perceived in general. This is about, we don't know his name. Actually, I don't even know if we know if this is the gender of this person. This person, whoever they are, is being supposedly stalked as a child by somebody. What happens is when he's in kindergarten, which I think this is a ridiculous idea anyway, because obviously you're going to get some creepy people. They release balloons with a Polaroid, maybe it was just no, I think it was a Polaroid, a letter, and then an address to mail some Polaroids and letters back to the school. And the children release these in balloons, and this is how they find pen pals. Except our main character releases theirs, and it comes back with just Polaroids. And they get Polaroid after Polaroid after Polaroid. They're in kindergarten, and they're getting all these Polaroids, and they keep all of them. And that's all I've really gotten so far. It's freaking me out, but I'm having a good time. And then I also haven't been reading this. I started reading it in the library. I got like a chapter in. I put it down for now because I think I'm going to go through some other books first and come back to this, like circle back as a palate cleanser. I'm enjoying it so far though. It's very obviously like middle grade YA, but I don't know. It's written in a way where I'm just having fun going along with the ride. I don't know how good the research is so far. I'm literally only a chapter in, but yeah, I'll finish this when I finish up some more other stuff. Okay, I'm on the last chapter of Penpal, and this has been a wild ride, so I figured I would record myself reading that last chapter because there has to be some big thing at the end, right? We still haven't figured out everything that's going on. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator. Oh, it by the way, this is a guy. This is from a male's perspective. At one point they called the two characters boys. So, and let's read the last chapter of this and see what happens. If this ends open-ended, I'm gonna be not happy. I would like some conclusion. Oh boy. All right, let's see. Something just occurred to me, but I'm not gonna say it because that's probably too spoilery to mention, so. Why is it always Florida? Okay, so there's a police report in the back. That wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was creepy. I'll give it that. It was very creepy. I thought there would be more of a twist at the end. There wasn't really. I mean, there was, but I'm a little confused about the timeline. At one point, they mention something happened 3 years previously, but then someone from that shows up. I'm confused. I feel like I must have gotten the timeline messed up because I'm confused about, I'm just confused. 3 stars. I liked the journey a lot. It was very creepy though. Yeah, this freaked me out a lot. Did not end how I thought it would. So I think I'll pick up a Fig for All Devils next. Okay, real quick. I'm DNFing a Fig for All Devils. I'm not having a good time. I got like 32% of the way into it and I don't like the writing enough to continue it. The premise was cool. I really liked the idea, and the like prologue, I guess, wasn't bad, but then it just kind of got worse. There were a surprising amount of grammatical errors for it being, like, I got this off of Hoopla. I've seen grammatical errors in books before from Hoopla, but this feels like it was pulled straight from Wattpad or something, and it reads like a teenager in high school in a creative writing class trying to be overly edgy with the way they're telling their story, but like in a cringy way. This feels like it's being deliberately edgy, but in a cringy way. I'm not having a good time. I don't care enough to continue it. I'm just gonna DNF it. And again, another DNF. All right, I finished I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me, and I think I'm gonna give it a 3. Part 1 was 4 stars, and then it just kind of degraded as it went, and then by the end I was just kind of bored, which happens a lot for me, but it was slogging at times, and I think that's what really got to me, especially around part 3. It was part 2 or part 3. There was just like a point where I was like, can we just move on, please? But overall, I had fun. The best parts by far were the scenes where she's going through her ballet moves and motions and things like that, described so well. Despite not knowing anything about ballet, I can pretty easily visualize what was going on. I didn't care for, there's a male character introduced in here that I didn't care for at all. Every time he popped up, I was like, can we move on? I don't care. I'm a little bit confused about how there's a sequel to this too. I mean, I guess I could see. I can and I can't see how there's a sequel. I don't think I'll be reading the sequel, but I'm also kind of curious how it goes, so maybe I'll look up reviews and like spoilery things about it. It was good, but I'm not interested enough to continue. One thing, while this cover is, you can't even see it because it's so glary. While this cover is fucking gorgeous and the entire reason I picked it up because I love this cover, the shine on her nails and her lips, the way her eyes sparkle, the shading on her skin, the pose, I'm obsessed, and I wish I had that copy. I mean, this copy's nice too, but like that copy. I don't know what the second one looks like. I'll have to go see what the second one looks like, but that cover, wow. I've also started The Insatiable Hunger of Trees, but I'm only prologue or the first chapter. It's the first chapter. I'm only 1 chapter in so far, and it starts off with our main character talking about how her sister disappeared in the trees and how the trees hold secrets of all the killings that have happened in them, and at the moment she's fostering kittens as like, I guess something to go on her, not resume, what is it when you're in high school? I actually don't know how old she is. Oh, 17. It says so on the back. God, I haven't been in school in such a long time. It'll look good on transcripts. No, it'll look good for college. So she's fostering kittens so she can get out of the town where her sister disappeared. She's talking about how the forest holds secrets, and she walks into the room where her foster kittens are, and one of them is like hissing out the window, and she looks out and there's something there. And I think she mentions that there's like a monster that's been, or not a monster, something has been following her, stalking her, looking at her, something like that. I'm enjoying the writing in this one so far though. I really like how it's written. Well, I spoke too soon. This ended up being a 1. I didn't like this at all. The first chapter was good. The first chapter was strong. The first chapter sucked me in, and then it all just went downhill. I didn't quite understand what the point of how the characters were set up. That's the right way to put that. What the point of it was. Because we have our main character, Kara. Her sister goes missing in the forest. Her sister shows back up, and so she recruits this guy who apparently she pushed at one point, and he's a little afraid of her, but then she's like, hey, I need your help, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll help figure out what's going on with your sister. But then he's like there sometimes, but then she's just off doing her own thing. She's with her sister. She's having her own problems. The side characters and what I thought was a main character just kind of like go in and out at random points that don't really seem cohesive to me, or didn't seem cohesive to me. And I didn't like the way the story flowed. It felt very disjointed. It felt like it was trying to build up to this giant reveal that really fell flat for me. It didn't live up to what I hoped it would be. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the execution. I didn't like, aside from that first chapter, I didn't like the way it was written. I didn't like any of the characters. And I don't know, I really didn't like it. 1 star. I do, however, love the cover art. So, yeah. 1 star for the cover art, I guess. I also finished The 5th of March, which got a 3 from me, which is typical for historical fiction like this. I wasn't very familiar with the Boston Massacre, so going to this was interesting because I recognized like the characters, like John Adams, Sam Adams, Abigail Adams, but I never really, like, I was able to like put them in where they were during the whole storyline of the massacre, but I didn't really know too much about the massacre itself, or if I did, back in elementary school, I forgot about it. So that was interesting to be able to recognize the characters, but not totally recognize the event that happened and be able to read the event. However, sometimes people take liberties because the main character in here, Rachel Marsh, was a real person who worked for the Adams. And sometimes people take liberties with these characters because there's not a whole lot known about them in order to write these stories. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess. And these tend to be very middle ground for me. Just in general, historical fiction tends to be very middle ground. I love historical fiction, but it is kind of hard to wow me. I still read them though, because they're fun. And I like reading different perspectives on historical events. I did like how this one ended though. The way the author kind of like, not exactly rewrote, but like twisted the ending of the main character's story, because we don't really know anything about Rachel Marsh. I did like what she did with that. I thought that was nice. But that's all for this one. So I ended up with a DNF, a 3-star, another DNF, another 3-star, a 1-star, and another 3-star, which is very typical for me. So I have like almost a 3.0 average rating on Goodreads. I think it's like a 2.9 something. But that's it for this one. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.